Hello and welcome. Let me adjust that camera just a little bit. Hello officially, Samuses. And welcome to Steins Gate. I'm trying to remember last time we had our... Yes, hello officially. Last time we had our phone microwave name subject change. And we sent some lewd bananas back in time. But we don't know how. And this is Ferris's barging into our house. Let's see what she wants. Immersed in a heated internet argument when an unfamiliar voice interrupts me. Oh, maybe it's not Ferris. Oh, it's not. It's the girl from downstairs. Door opens and a girl peeks inside. I recognize her. It's the girl I met yesterday at the Brawn Tube workshop. Here to deliver our fixed TV. Our eyes meet, she smiles. It's the unrealistically thin girl with very pronounced eyes. It's not like her hair tries to point to anything other than her eyes. I swear they give every character in this game a different, primary eye color. Daru's typing gets even faster. Looks like he's in the zone. It'd be a bad idea to disturb him with our voices. Or eyes. I nod to the girl and hurry outside. If he's in the I want to be in the auto zone. If that's the zone that completes all my work for me, that's the zone I want to be in. What was this girl's name again? I think it was something like Aruma or Amore. Alright. Amane Suzuha. Does Canada have auto zone? I'm guessing that sounds like a go-karting place. That's my guess. If so, I haven't been there. Let me know what an auto zone is. I probably won't be able to tell you since I don't 100% know, but I might be able to give a better answer to that. Vehicle parts repair shop. We might. That sounds familiar. Luckily, I've only had to... Yes, that motto is very familiar. So either, yes, we have it, or I've seen enough US television that I've seen that ad. But yes, I've only actually had to take my car in once to a repair shop because my battery died. Yeah, I totally get that. I don't actually watch a whole lot of TV recently. I've never been a big TV watcher in general. I'll watch stuff on Netflix or YouTube or anime, but actual TV, I mainly just watch sports stuff, and with the virus and sports basically being out of commission, I haven't really been watching a whole lot of TV other than Netflix. Yeah, you just have streaming services. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. I feel like if I got my own place, I would either just have streaming stuff or like rabbit ears or something. I don't really need cable. It annoys me still that cable's still bundled with a lot of stuff, with your phone and your internet. Nothing hooks up to you, just got satellite. Yeah, I've got a cousin who lives not middle of nowhere, but getting to it. They're close enough that they can drive 15 minutes to a reasonable sized town, but their actual house is like literally you could probably like hurl a rock and not. Well, maybe you can hit one of their neighbors' houses, but like their backyard neighbor is like a solid couple kilometers behind them, and they have like a forest and a pond in between them. I raise my guard and spring into praying mantis stance. But Suzuha just stares blankly. You could hit our neighbor across the street, maybe down the road a bit, but there aren't a whole lot of houses out here. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, if you're a developer and you want to actually build houses, it does make sense to squish them together, just so, like, anything you do have to put down, like sewage lines and stuff like that, or telephone lines, it's just cheaper that way. I lower my guard. Why didn't she just say so? A one-lane gravel road that goes down from... Jeez. Yeah, I'm not a fan of driving on gravel, especially if it's like gravel in winter and then you don't know if you're going to get snow, ice, or rock, and that... I would hate that. Suzuha nods firmly with her eyes. Is it just me, or are her eyes gleaming and like bright yellow? You're fortunate enough to be next to the main road, so it's not too bad. But people out here don't know how to drive and speed down this road. Yeah. I've yet to actually be in like a city where I'm like, people here actually know how to drive.
我ら未来ガジェット研究所は世界を影から操る闇の機関に対抗し、その支配構造を破壊するために活動しているのだ。
Yeah, so at my cousin's house, the road that the major road near them is one way, but one lane each way, but it's paved. But there's like a really steep incline at one point, and like basically if that ice is up, they can't get out of their county, I guess, or like their area at least. And one of my cousins, he was working at I think he was working at a car wash. He did like the maintenance repairs for it, and he like drove out on like a January day, like saw cars like off the road into the ditch, and just went home and called his boss, and his boss was like, "No, you've got to come in." And he's like, "No, I'm not doing that. It's not worth potentially driving my car into a ditch to make this shift." And his dad was, still is, a fire chief, so he has experience just dealing with those kinds of incidents and just knows how bad they can get, and completely agreed with him.
そうだろ。
おお、やっぱそうなの？あいつら抱きすべき連中だよね。
She nods to herself for some reason. Contemptible? I thought I was the only one who uses words like that in a normal conversation.
なぜ？俺たちが今まさにセルンにハッキング中だと知っている。
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Samus. You cannot pay me enough to risk my life to get to work. Yeah. There's really not anything really worth risking your life for. In that regard, at least. Never be military. Yeah, I have one friend who he joined the military just to get his have them pay for his engineering background. But he was like, yeah, some of the questions they ask, at least up here in Canada, like one of the questions they ask is, would you follow a direct order if you thought that commanding officer was being dumb and that it might kill you. And if you answer no, you wouldn't follow it, you're not allowed in, because they're looking for people who will blindly follow orders. Me and my big mouth and her big eyes.
いいからこちらの質問に答えろ。なぜ俺たちとセルの関係を知っている？
あー、それは。いやー、実は昼間話し声を聞いちゃってさ、ここに立つと窓から聞こえてくるわけ。
The window. Come to think of it, it was open and Dara and I were talking loudly. Yeah, we always talk loud. You scream loudly of like just into your cell phone. But can you really hear us from here? I look up to the second floor. The window's still fully open, just not in this background that we've rendered where it's completely shut. But I can't hear a thing. Guess Dara's working quietly. I look down. There's an unfamiliar bicycle parked in front of the Brawn Tube workshop. One of those mountain bikes. Frame is all sparkly, its tires mostly clean, it's probably new. Looks pretty fast, but whose is it?
私、昨日からここで働き出したんだけど。
But you're already skipping work to come talk to us? Suzuha opens the Brawn Tube workshop door with a wry smile.
これが予想以上に暇でさ、今日だけで 4,5 回は外に出たね。客来ないかなーって店の前で索敵しちゃったね。
Gone out, taken 4 or 5 breaks, still no customers. Contour? Now there's a word you don't hear in casual conversation. Pretty sure it means to perform reconnaissance, to scout an area and gather intelligence. She's some kind of secret agent? You're beginning to feel concerned. Follow Suzuha into the store. If I looked at this place, I would not think it was a store. I would think it's like a dude's basement where he just collects old CRT TVs and monitors to like fix them up and like sell them on eBay, but he doesn't actually end up fixing them up or selling them.
気になってついネットで調べちゃった。セルンの黒い噂についてもバッチリ知ってるよ。
Damn, we were careless. Looks like we need to close that window when we discuss sensitive matters from now on. If we do that, the lab will turn into a scorching hell. Damned if I do, damned if I don't.
とにかく絶対に他言無用だぞ。
Or else men in black will raid us.
あ、わかった。これでも口は硬いから任せといて。
That sounds kind of fun. Are you referring to fixing up TVs? Suzuha grins and thumps her eyes confidently. I could see it. I don't have a whole lot of experience with electronic stuff. I took a couple courses in university on physical computing is what they called it. It was basically playing with Arduinos. That's probably the closest experience I have to working with electronics. Electronic repair is kind of fun. I would be that would be something I would try. All is quiet inside the Brawn Tube workshop. That gigantic TV is non. Mr. Braun's not here either. They say gigantic TV, but that looks like it's only like 40 inches, which nowadays isn't that big. You'd like something a little more complex than a laptop to repair. That's fair. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really repaired anything, but it does sound like it could be a fun hobby kind of thing.
店長はどこへ？
I have seen really dumb stuff with Arduinos. I worked at a client and I had to go into their office and they had an Arduino hooked up to just like a, what's the word for it? I guess like a piston, and They put it on the top of the fridge so that when the fridge door closed, it would push it in. And if you left the door open for over a minute, it would start beeping at you. It was super annoying.
たった今君のテレビの修理が終わって出てったよ。
It's also probably the most, like, trivial thing I've ever seen anyone build an Arduino project for. You probably went to see the chipmunk. Disappears during business hours every now and then. Your fridge does that on your own? Hello, Shy. How's it going? Yes, you see a Canadian. Sense a Canadian. Oh, we have mail from Lukako. Lukako made sweets. I baked cookies today. Had everyone in my family eat some and got their seal of approval. Be okay if I bake some for your friends, Master? Oh, and it would be great if you could teach me some more techniques with Samidare whenever you have time. P.S. I managed 10 practice swings today. Okay, so we have 3 options. We're gonna do the usual, take a look at all of them. We can offer to have her come cook and we will give her a maid costume. I'm already tempted. We can ask about her family and point out that Daru is in fact a creep. Or this is actually a really nice message about not having to depend on us our whole lives and that you will get stronger on your own. But solely for the memes, let's do the maid uniform. Samus seems to agree with me. Still no internet. Whenever I ask him where he's going, he always says something like, I'm picking up my beloved daughter from school, or my beloved daughter has a cold, with a huge grin on his face. He dotes on her too much. Probably just annoys her. Anyway, just how irresponsible can you be to neglect work to see your daughter? He used to put a back soon sign on the door whenever he left, but now he has Suzuha to take care of things while he's gone. Chat likes the maid meme. Well, I think we made the right choice then. Suzuha lightly taps the TV on the counter. Said to charge 1,000 yen, about $10-ish, a little more. Damn Andrew, I bet he gave it to us just so he could charge repair fees. I reluctantly take a bill out of my wallet and hand it to Suzuha. You're starting to think that maybe you should redo your keyword to specifically made mim? Yeah, maybe. I mean, you could have like a mim and... Because you could have like a mim command if you don't already, I don't remember. And you could also have made mim. She takes out her receipt. Apparently it was already written out. Yeah. Do we know it takes 10 times more effort to go up the stairs than down? Defying gravity is no easy task, woman. Just ask your eyes. She mutters, her tone pensive. How sarcastic of her.
誰も貴様に手伝ってもらおうなどとは思っていないというより貴様のような女子に手伝ってもらうことはこの俺のプライドが許さん
Applause.
今の男らしいじゃん。私惚れちゃうかも。
騙されるものか貴様嘘をついているな
なんで嘘って思うの？
それはこの俺の能力の一つ
Spent a lot of time today trying to fix the keyword issue, and this is a solution. This power allows me to see through lies. Liars appear to glow red, then they die. Yeah, because you're on Phantom Bot, right? So, yeah, I still use Nightbot. I have thought about switching over to Phantom Bot because I've seen some of the stuff that like Deadbeard does with it, and it's pretty cool. I think overall it's probably the more flexible solution. It's just actually finding time to do it when I have other things like getting my emotes done I still want to do. Had a lot of trouble with the regular expression system though. Regular expressions everywhere are just a pain. She says eyes pop, but then she clears her throat as if to hide her surprise.
それって超能力的なもの？
When I nod, she whispers into my ear.
あのさ、君みたいな能力者って他にもあまたにいるわけ？
いるわけが
I
な
wouldn't
かろう。
exactly call that a
こ
whisper.
の俺がスペシャルなのだ。
I thrust my chest out as far as possible to display my majesty.
そっか、あまたにはいないのか。びっくりした。でもいるって時点ですごいな。やっぱセルンのせいで退化したのかな。
I mean, I agree that it's amazing that people like us exist, but I think for an entirely different reason than you. After muttering some nonsense to herself, she finally nods in understanding.
でもさ、戦闘になれば相手の嘘を見抜く力なんて意味なくない？
Before you had two keywords, one for Mim and one for Mythic, you decided to merge them. However, Regex is case sensitive and you couldn't find a good solution to the issue. Yeah, I'm not sure how their regex works in that regard. Because I haven't seen it. I feel like you should be able to, like, specify. Usually you can do it like square bracket, like capital M, lowercase m, and bracket. But I haven't actually seen what their regex syntax looks like.
やっぱ 1000m 級の長距離狙撃を命中させられるとか、いかに効率よく相手の関節決められるかとかの方が重要だと思うな。
Jeez, just tearing enemy limbs off. Okay. Yeah, every single solution you found online didn't work, and yeah, you're gonna need the bracket solution, but it's so ugly. I agree. I was helping out my partner with a regex thing. Can't remember if that was earlier this week or late last week, but yeah, the answer ended up being something really dumb with multiple sets of square brackets, and it was so ugly. I hate reading it. The hell is she talking about? She's a survival game otaku? No, wait. Don't tell me.
貴様、さては機関のヒットマンだな。ミス・ゴルゴというコードネームで呼ばれているだろう。誰に雇われた？
いや、誰にも雇われてないし。っていうか、ゴルゴって何？
Yeah, I get that. I mean, nowadays there's usually some kind of library for whatever thing you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to validate, say, an email, or a value is a correct monetary value, so it's some number decimal to up to two other numbers. There's usually something out there that you don't have to build it from scratch. She's trying to gloss things over with an insincere smile. Laughs in WT forms. I've not had the apparently displeasure to work with WT forums. I've been working mainly in C#.net for the past 2 years. A little bit of React TypeScript is the other thing my company usually uses internally. Yeah, I would expect most things to have that stuff right now. Stuff I still can't believe we don't have like good validation for is like date times, because we work with clients and like sometimes they'll have like we have a client and they have offices in like Canada and US, and like Canada and US by default use different date formats. Forget which is which. I think Canada's day, month, year, and US's month, day, year, and it's just so annoying. There are, we eventually had to like write our own solution, the issues we were having with validating date times is for C#, the validation actually uses the Windows configuration set in the registry. So if you were like hard coding expecting something, or even like a database might not store it in the same way that Windows is expecting their date time to be, you couldn't have changed it based on client. What we had tried to do was we tried to get from the database and then based on their Windows setting do it that way, but we found that didn't work, so we actually had to write our own little parser that basically would start by trying the one on the Windows system and then would go through like a list of other known values until we could parse it properly. And if it goes through all of that, then tough luck. Sucks to be them. They have to change their format. And I did see at least one client who had manually gone into the registry and changed the date time format to a non-valid Windows one. Just force ISO formatting. Problem is we're working with technology from like the 90s, and integrating with that isn't always the best. Okay. Apparently this is now like a mini coding and stuff. So I'm not able to go into super details. I can go into some details, just not... Yeah, that's totally fine. I get it. I obviously like talking about it too, and I love doing it for a living. But yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about it. I have to not say like names and specific implementation details, just as part of non-disclosure contracts. But the gist of it is we're working with a client who basically what they do is you go into dentist offices, grab their like availabilities from these old databases that can be, some of them can be modern, some can be from like the 90s. So there's like a huge range of like 30 years of programming and database stuff there. And basically they pull the availabilities, and then you can go online as like someone looking for a dentist and say like, I'm looking for a dentist, let's say next Saturday in Toronto from 1 to 3 p.m., somewhere in that range. And it'll go in and say like, oh, well, there's these 5 practices that can take you at that time, and then it books them in. Hey Riku, how's it going? We're on a bit of an aside. Samus was asking me about my work, so we're going through that. So Samus, I can tell you some cool stories about technology that sucks from the 90s. So the oldest database we've seen, their version of encryption is doing a substitution cipher on the first 4 characters of any SQL request to their database. So if you were doing, say, select star from appointments, like S was replaced by A, E was replaced by a caret, L was replaced by like a D or something, and so on. So your like select would be like A caret D caret LCT rest of your query. That was a pain to figure out. There's another database we've worked with, and they don't believe in types on columns. So their thing is like, you make a column, it's untyped, so you can put whatever the heck you want as a value for this column. So imagine if you have like one column that's, let's say it was called appointment date, and one person can enter like 04/01/2020, for example. Another person could write a string that says Tuesday, March 18th. Yes, so So yeah, so this is the kind of technology I've had to work with. It is horrible, a lot of it. I don't know who he prepares the revolver. So, yeah, I don't know who thought some of these were good ideas. They are not. We're sort of at the point right now where we've done most of that hard work, and we're trying to do some like refining on like accuracy as for like when times are available, or adding in different like dentist systems we support, because for whatever reason there's like 10,000 different dentist software applications. I don't know why this is such a heavily saturated application area, but it is. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been working on for the past 2 years. No, you're gonna be that XKCD comic where it's like, there's 10 different ways to format this. We should have one unified solution that does all of them. Coming soon. There's 11 formats. But yeah, other than that, my work has had me work in a lot of different areas, a lot of different horizontals. So like I'm currently working with dentists. I've worked with stuff for tracking like heart rate. I've worked for kids' toys, US election stuff, tax information, lawyers. So it's one thing I really like about working at like a small consulting firm is you get all these different kinds of things. The one thing I haven't really done is we usually do a lot of web stuff. I've been the exception working in C#.NET land for the past 2 years, but usually we're doing websites or mobile apps. Mobile apps is like the one thing I haven't really touched on. Like I've worked on like a project for maybe like 2 weeks and that was it, just because they needed someone to fill in for it. But yeah, we can keep talking about it, but I do want to get back to this game. I can't remember if I've read this line, so I'm going to say it anyways. That reminds me, I think I remember her saying some awfully disturbing things when we first met yesterday.
ちなみにさ、君の能力って他にもあるの？
あったとしても、俺を殺しに来たヒットマンに教えるものか。
Yeah, we can DM talk about it. I have stories of working with different clients. And clients can be crazy.
君を殺しなんてしないってば。
There was one night I was in a stream, and it was the person streaming. There were like 2 other people just like in their Discord voice hanging as the other person was playing this game. And they were both working in like IT and programming. So we were just like trading stories about like random things. Yeah. You're already tempted. I mean, I can remove that. I can tempt you even more. Don't worry, Samus. I have Streamlabs open, and we actually haven't had a whole lot of viewers today. I know probably a bunch of people were burnt out from Faye's birthday stream earlier. I know Deadbeard, he had planned to be there for like 6 hours, and he died out a couple hours in. Oh, my controller is no longer... There we go. The spinny circle is such an awkward place, but you want to stare at the circle. It reminds me of the Mac loading balloon. Our eyes meet, invisible sparks scatter. Yeah, it happens. I woke up early for Faye's stream, and at like 1 o'clock I had eaten way too much for lunch because I cooked too much, and it's super hot where I am right now. My house is currently at around 27 degrees Celsius. And it just made me want to take a nap, so I went and died in my room, which was basically a sauna. It must have been like 29 degrees or something. How did that go, Phase Stream? It was pretty good. We got her to sing. We sang Happy Birthday to her when she took her phone down to go eat with her family because her dad brought in McDonald's for her birthday. I don't know how she eats so much McDonald's. If I worked there, I would probably be sick of it and not want to touch the stuff. But she brought her phone down and put us on speaker, and we sang Happy Birthday to her in front of her parents, and I think that's hilarious. Yeah, and then we got her to sing at one point, and then Chaos went like sleep deprived, insane. Yes, right, yeah, you wanted us to sing it 10 times. But yeah, Chaos pretended he was a TV and then a clothes hamper for like a solid half hour, and it was hilarious. I wasn't on for the very end. My Discord died probably with like hour and a half left remaining, so I didn't see the end of it. But I know Mim and Chaos are still there for, I think, the rest of it. Oh, we've got more mail. Oh gosh, it's Shining Finger. Por favor. Wonderful. Okabe-kun. I want you to reply to me already. I've been waiting. You know. And please tell me the super hacker's address when you can. If we don't get cracking, someone else might get to the IBN 5100 first. Moika. There was not a maid Mim. Oh, I guess at one point Mim was just talking about moving to the UK. So he was just talking a bit about that. Oh, maid Mim in-game? No, that was Lukako was the one we sent the maid text to. She has not yet responded. And then an email arrives to break the stalemate. I turn my attention away from Suzuha. This ringtone is starting to piss me. I just changed this ringtone. I spent like a solid 10 minutes on stream picking the best ringtone. It's most likely from that male demon Shining Finger. I can tell without even checking. This is getting ridiculous. She's got some stalker qualities, maybe split personalities. Shouldn't have given her my address. Yeah, we have already checked. I look at Susan and see her lying on the counter? What? She's playing with something in the palm of her hand. It looks like a small metal pin. I know what this is. Won't she die if she lies? Anyway, how can she be this lazy on her second day? I love CRTs. Was that a lie too, wasn't it? I don't know anyone personally who loves CRTs. Like, I could totally get it from, like, the fixing up the electronics point of view that you could love it. But I don't know anyone who, like, 10 years ago was like, I love CRTs so much, I just want to be in a store and sell them.
なんか渋い顔してるね。死亡通知でも来た？
あ？
例えだってば。
She was just wondering if I got a death notice? How can she say that with a straight face? And what the hell is a death notice anyway? Those even exist? Yes, a death note?
似たようなものだ。
I tried watching Death Note. I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes. So my knowledge on this is lacking, but I don't think they actually sent you a notice. I think he writes it in the book how you die. I don't think he sends you a text message like, hey bro, you're gonna have a heart attack in 2 hours. That'll be far too easy to trace. This girl is hard to get a handle on. Really shouldn't let my guard down around her.
IBN5100 というレトロ PC にやたら執着している女がいてな。
Suzuha leaps up as soon as I speak.
IBN5100?
知っているのか?
A little bit of context from a spin-off fanfic for a different community. Almost know nothing about outside of the similar rules in the other universe. Yeah, it was one of those ones where I'd heard a lot of good things about it. I tried watching it, and it didn't grab me. So I usually find if a show doesn't grab me in like the first 2 episodes, I'm not gonna devote a whole lot of time to it. Time is precious. I have like 70 other shows I want to watch and like 6 games after this to play. I don't want to spend time. These streams are just like your Ace Attorney streams. In what way, Samus's?
So
the going away off topic and talking about coding? Maybe that retro PC is more popular with female otaku than I thought. 10% actually playing, 90% just talking about random stuff and not doing anything. Yeah, I could see that. And the 10% actually playing is like when you're in the courtroom. The 90% is when you're out gathering the evidence. Ace Attorney's a fantastic series. I haven't played the newest ones, the ones that were like 3DS. The names of those ones escape me right now. I think I already spent 5 minutes in every single line in the game because you can go off on long tangents. Yeah.
Yeah. 知ってるような知ってないようなって感じかな。
You do and you don't. This is how you don't lie so you don't die.
私は知らないけど、遠い知り合いが知ってて、それをちらっと聞いたことがあるみたいな。
Or something like that. Apollo Justice. Thank you. That was the one I was trying to come up with. I tried to play them in chronological order, so I played the original trilogy on DS, and then I did the Miles Edgeworth one. Was Apollo? Maybe I did play Apollo Justice. Maybe that was the last one I did. Yeah. What I would try to do is I would try and get through it, and if I was getting to the point where it was like I wasn't finding something, then I would look it up. But I would make sure I gave it at least like 10-15 minutes first to try and figure it out on my own before I would look anything up. Yeah, I can see people not liking it. It's especially the parts like outside of the courtroom can be a little bit slow, but I think in the courtroom and like how they link it together totally makes up for it, and how they link cases. This entire game is outside the courtroom. Yeah, for the Edgeworth one, yes. Actually, I guess there was one that takes place in a courtroom, but you don't actually go into the trial. Yeah, I agree. I really wanted to prosecute. Yeah. But, I don't know, like, it was still an alright game. The worlds that they make and how they link everything together are still fantastic. You just want to find people get punish me, edgy, I am guilty. I'm starting to think she's not a very good liar. I guess that means she's going to die very soon. I can tell she's lying whenever she smiles like that, which is 90% of the time. That face right there is like the perfect example of like an uwu face, just saying. Sure enough, she doesn't offer any other information. She just keeps that insincere smile plastered on her face.
Kisama. Nanimono?
Suzuha falls back down onto the counter with a deep sigh. She looks up at me from that position.
IBN5100 についてのさ、興味深い情報教えてあげようと思ったのにな。そんな目で見られたら教える気なくなっちゃった。
そもそも俺は IBN5100 になど興味はない。
More concerned with SERN right now. You feel like punishment Franziska's is the better choice. You're not wrong. I mean, there's that, or you can get coffee thrown at you. It's also always fun. Solving one of Akiba's mysteries won't topple the organization's regime, after all.
貴様を信用できる要素が一つもない。その面白い情報が真実であるかどうかもわからない。
うわぁ、そこまで言う？確かに私、挙動不審だけどね。
Not too big on pain, but you think you'd choose whip over burns? Yeah, it probably depends like what kind of burns they are. I guess just like from experience, I have touched liquids that are too hot. I have not been whipped. So at least I know what hot liquid on my body feels like. It's not fun, but it's at least something I know I can compare it to other things. And now Suzuha wants us to writhe in agony. Do you think she's gonna pick the whip or the coffee? I've never had it bad. I've had it like when you're cooking something and like part of it splashes out onto your hand. Or like maybe you're I don't know why, but some people have sinks that get like stupid hot, and like, you know when someone's like left it on hot and like you go to turn it on, you expect it to be normal and like it's now like scalding. Like I've had that. So like you pull your hand out right away and then put cold water on it and it's pretty fine. Like maybe you get like a small blister, but it's not too bad. I cannot drink stuff that's too hot. Like, my mouth is too sensitive for that. So if I'm ever drinking something hot like coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, I either like get it so it's like starting to boil but not like a rolling boil and like shut the kettle off then. Or if it goes to like a rolling boil, like if I leave it on too long, I'll pour it and then like wait 10 minutes before I actually drink it because I cannot handle it. Yeah, so that's exactly it. Spit it out quickly or swallow and burn your throat. I usually choose to swallow and burn my throat. Probably not the right choice, but that's what I usually end up doing. A hidden function. That reminds me, I'm pretty sure that the John Titor from 2000 said something like that. I searched through my memories.
確か IBN5100 には独自のプログラミング言語がどうたらこうたら。
Cool, we're into programming languages.
嘘、なんで知ってんの？なんで？
I only vaguely remember, but it looks like I hit the mark. I grin.
能力名サイズハング。俺は貴様の心の内を読み取ることができるのだ。
Are we Ace Attorney now with leading questions?
何それ？反則。
For some reason, Suzuha covers her face with both her hands. We have an objection. She opens her fingers just enough to peek at me. It's not enough to escape my power.
すべてはお見通しだ。天音鈴葉。観念するがいい。
とにかく IBN5100 には隠された機能があるの。 APL やベーシックが普及する前に書かれた IBN の独自のプログラミング言語も解読できちゃうのってさ、驚愕だと思わない？
Okay, we have some kinds of programming languages. Let's go and take those. Basic, yeah, beginner's all-purpose, symbolic instruction code. I knew it was an acronym, I couldn't have told you that. I've used Visual Basic, but not Actual Basic. A programming language, fantastic acronym. What was this? Oh, Survival Airsoft, cool. Now I remember, John Titor said the same thing in 2000. Right after that, an IBN engineer officially admitted to that function's existence.
今や IBN5100 でしか解読できない失われたプログラミング言語があったりするんだよ。
I bet you someone somewhere still uses BASIC. The reason Titor traveled to 1975 to obtain an IBN 5100 was because he needed that function. Maybe Moeka wants to use it too. Or maybe not. Shining Finger doesn't seem like the type who'd know about that sort of function.
だから IBN5100 ってすごくレアな PC なの。
There was... So Samus is another programming one. When I was at a conference for... it was just for students showing off their capstone projects, their thesis projects. So while I was there was a professor from some other school who arrived, or some other university who arrived, and was just like asking students about what programming languages have you worked in? And so like I was listing through the ones I'd worked in chronologically, and I got to Turbo Pascal, and he's like, "That's amazing. I still work with Turbo Pascal every day." And I was like, "Why? Why would you do this?" Exactly. I don't know why. If I had to guess, my guess is he's using some kind of proprietary like application that was written in it that like they still need to maintain. But I was like, but no, it's yeah, exactly. It's used for learning. Like it was nice in that it's like a nice object-oriented language that's good for beginners. But beyond that, like I don't know why you would actually build something with it. Like it's not good for using anything. I mean, building Pascal interpreters in something like C++ or Python. Yeah, I'd imagine C or C++. Maybe like I guess Python. I'm not as up on like Python doing stuff like that. I've only used Python for machine learning stuff, and I only did that like a little bit. I'm not a fan of Python. I'm not a fan of any language that uses white space as an indicator for like instead of brackets. It's I hate it. Yeah, I've done like a couple little things in Python. You use white space anyway, but people aren't necessarily consistent with white space. Like I have colleagues who their tab is like 2 spaces. I use 4 space. And yeah, like I'm sure you could like come to be okay with it, but I like my brackets. I'm keeping my brackets. While talking, Susa keeps dropping her glance at the metal pin in her hand. She rolls it around with her fingers. I guess that's a habit of hers. People don't listen to standards. So IBN 5100s are super rare. Maybe if I get one, I could sell it for a high price. Yeah. Like any kind of standard or like just even style guides, like if you're looking at style guides for code, it's one of those things where I'll look at it and I'll be like, agree, agree, agree. Why the heck would I ever do this? Agree, agree, no. Could be a good way to raise research funds. But first I'd have to deal with CERN. We're back on the John Titor forum. Why do your brackets need their own lines? I like putting them on their own line. I find it a bit more readable. But my thing is always, that's pretty minor. If you do the bracket at like the end of your if statement, I don't really care as long as you're consistent. That's my one thing. If you're going to do it, be consistent about it. You no longer respect me. John Titor forum. Yeah, I respect consistency. Just working with the client, we'll put in like a pull request, and I hate when it comes back and someone's like, I find this more readable, and I'm like, I don't care what you find more readable. I'm not changing my style because of your readability. If you want to do that, make a style guide and we all follow it. Otherwise, I'm not going to change my pull requests because you like things this way and this person likes things this way. I'm not doing that. John Titor says, life in 2036 is very different from what it is today. Most people live on farms growing their own food. All forms of commerce and communication are restricted. There's no travel, no internet, no railroad even. Most people never see another town, let alone a city. Science continues to advance, of course, but the vast majority of people do not benefit from that progress. Technology belongs only to those chosen by CERN and the Committee of 300. It's very peaceful, at least on the surface. There's none of the conflict you see in this era. This is why you have auto formatting. Yeah, I worked with another client, the deep learning client, and what they did is we just had a script that you had to run and then commit it as your last commit, and it would do the automatic styling for the style guide. That was great. And if you came across something in the code and it asked you to format it a certain way and it was dumb, you could post hey, it's asking me to do this, I think it's dumb, here's why, and we would have a discussion about it. And if everyone agreed yeah, that's dumb, we would just update the script to ignore it. Anonymous says, there's no war. How is that possible? How did CERN resolve the situation in the Middle East? Another Anonymous, what have you got against world peace? To me sounds like CERN's doing humanity a favor. Anonymous, this Titor guy stole a time machine from Stern, didn't he? He's the bad guy here. Die in a fire, terrorist scum. John Titor, the world in 2036 is governed by CERN. All nations, even America, have disbanded their armies. To put it simply, civilization has returned to an 18th century level of technology and exists under a communist system of government. Except now, that system works flawlessly. You're not making a great argument so far. Right now, you should be asking yourselves how that is possible. How does a system of government that collapsed in the 20th century exist without any discontent? The answer to that question is the reason I'm here. Yes, I am a terrorist. There are others like me who fight against CERN. Do not think of ourselves as the resistance, but there's no denying that our actions are a kind of terrorism. Anonymous, anyway, I want to hear more about the many worlds interpretation. You said it's been proven by 2036. How? I missed your long discussion from the Talos Prince about politics. Yes, I did miss that. Politics, I don't know. I'm always open to having nice, respectful conversations about politics. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people can take it too far, and that's, especially online, when like text isn't exactly the easiest to get emotion or sense the feeling from. It can be something that's a bit harder. Anonymous says, I knew you were a terrorist. How many have you murdered? What if my kids are among them? Maybe I should really kill your father, protect the future. It's brought up by the game, asked me about my political views, then you decide to justify why you believe what you do. What question did it ask you, and what was your answer? I'm curious now. Anonymous, stop beating around the bush, give us answers. Another Anonymous, you're one of those old men who participated in the student riots, aren't you? Fill your head with a bunch of bullshit now. You can't tell fact from fiction, am I right? You don't remember? That's okay. If you... And you don't have to do this, but if you happen to end up going back through the VOD and find it, let me know. I'm curious, but don't feel any need to go through that. It asked if you'd maintain your moral codes under any circumstances, regardless if you're in the real world or a simulation. Okay. So, what I get from that is... I guess how I would answer that, and the game probably wouldn't have given you this kind of information, is... and then it asks essentially how you would run a world and what my focus would be on political policies. It's a very open-ended question. But as for the first one, I would look at it, one, can you differentiate the real world from a simulation? Because if you can't, I would say you need to maintain your moral code because you're failing to properly describe this. That's okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like I said, if you happen to go back through it, let me know. Otherwise, it's totally fine. I understand not remembering things you did. I am not good at remembering things in general. Anonymous says, delicious nationalist tears, lol. CERN probably figured it out. They've got a time machine to experiment with, right? We post. That'd make you know better than Tighter. If you're willing to face the consequences, then go right ahead. Tighter question. Did World War III take place as scheduled? Why did you come to this particular time? Did you find an IBN 5100? Look through the VOD on your channel. It's probably about 3/4 through the stream. Okay, and it was the last Talos Principle one you did. If I have time, I will take a look and see if I can find it. Maybe there's like chat messages around that time discussing it. I might look for those. Or maybe just try and find a place where you're just like standing in front of a thing just like for 10 minutes because you're talking about it. Like I did at the very start of this stream. Anonymous says, is John Titor plugging for the commies? I thought that went out of style years ago. Okay, there was one person who did indulge your discussions. Okay, that's probably the easiest thing for me to look for if I go back through the VOD. Anonymous, I thought Titor was crazy, but this Hoenn guy is even crazier. Get a room, guys, lol. Anonymous, World War III LMAO. Anonymous, isn't there supposed to be an IBN 5100 in Akiba? Didn't follow, but they helped you understand the differences between communism and socialism. Okay. Off the top of my head, and I'm not super into like the differences in politics, but off the top of my head, I think communism is like an actual form of government, whereas socialism is more of like your policies on that matter and doesn't necessarily say how you... like how a ruler is picked for your country and how they govern. John Titor says, as I've already explained, my goal in this time is to change the future. I'm posting here to warn you of what's going to happen. Perhaps convergence will render my efforts meaningless, but if even one person pays attention, that's enough. World War III. Is that something I said on a different world line? I'd like to talk to you in private. Please email me when you have time. Of course, if anyone else also like to email me, feel free. Serious inquiries only, please. All I've been getting is hate mail. Here's my address once more. They didn't fully explain what communism focuses on the privatizing distribution of goods and services to the government itself. Serious inquiries only. Why does that sound familiar? I don't know, but I agree it sounds familiar. 20 hours have passed since Daru started hacking. Night gives way to a refreshing summer morning. I glance at Daru while browsing @channel on my phone. He's fidgeting even more, and now his legs are like pistons. His knees move up and down in harmony with the rat-a-tat-tat of his keyboard. Excuse me. Daru hasn't slept in about 40 hours, but he still won't get off the computer. Daru is dead beard confirmed. I was going to ask him if he'd like a break, but his entire body is exuding an aura that says, "Don't talk to me," as most programmers' auras are when they're on a deadline. It's common phrasing on public auctions like eBay or Facebook Marketplace when someone is selling something worthless for more than it's worth. They know people are going to try and get the real value from them. Okay, that makes sense. I haven't done stuff on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. I've bought like a couple phones off of Kijiji. That's about it. I curl up a bit and return to my phone. Although actually my latest phone I got off of Amazon new. This is the Samsung A20. But before that I had the Galaxy S5, I think it was, and I got that one used on Kijiji. My discussions with John Titor just aren't making sense. Not even Titor himself seems to know about the Titor from 10 years ago. It's hard to imagine that everyone on @channel is conspiring against me. But how else can I explain it? Out of options, I decide to email Titor directly, just as he told me to. He audaciously exposed his own address and @channel. I guess that's his way of saying, bring it on. In my email, I question the differences between his post now and his post 10 years ago. Please let me actually type this. This would be fantastic. The current Titor hasn't even acknowledged the latter. I only vaguely remember them, but they basically went like this. In 2015, World War III breaks out. Many people die. By 2036, the world is a nuclear wasteland. John Titor travels to 1975 to obtain an IBM 5100. Yeah, I don't remember World War III either. Perhaps that's a different world line. The IBM 5100 was necessary to revive technology lost in World War III. There's subtle differences from what we're actually typing in the phone versus what I'm reading out. The phone one looks more compact. It's leaving out some of the finer details. The IBM 5100 has a hidden function, the ability to read IBM's proprietary computer language, which predates APL and BASIC. But only certain IBM engineers are aware of that function, so it does not appear in the manual. Yeah, it's a flip phone style input. What did I expect? Yeah, that's fair. He is also just typing entire, like, 4chan threads from this phone, too. I never actually had one of these, like, flip phone style ones. 'Cause I didn't have a cell phone until my 3rd year of university. Like, before that, my mom had, like, one of those Nokia brick phones that she would let me borrow if I was, like, going out with friends or something. But I would just, like, I'd call home if I was going to be late. I wouldn't text because I had the only phone in our house, so didn't really send too many text messages on a phone like that. In 1998, Titor meets his younger self and his parents in America. John Titor was a soldier who volunteered for this mission. John Titor is an American. We're now playing Two Truths and a Lie. Okay, yeah. Like I've used, what is it called? T9? Is that what it was called? Like, I know enough to do it, but not enough. I didn't do it enough to like know how hard it would be to type this giant essay on it. I can imagine it'd be quite hard though. Furthermore, in 2000, Titer correctly predicted the outcomes of some future events: the Peruvian coast earthquake in 2001, the election of a new pope, the outbreak of the Iraq War, China's advances in space, and so forth. Though he only talked vaguely about each one, they all came true. On the other hand, other predictions went unfulfilled. Yeah. Yeah, I had friends who like got so good at it, like they could just have it like under like their desk at school, not look at it, and send like perfect text messages. For example, the Y2K bug, Civil War in America, the cancellation of the Beijing Olympics, the inauguration of America's first female president in 2009, and so forth. There's more, but we'll leave those aside for now. I'm going to ask him why those predictions didn't come true. Subject sorry for the sudden mail. Okay, apparently we... okay, it's letting us review the mail if we want to. So yeah, so he's just asking at the end, if you're from the future, how come your predictions didn't come true? Please explain. If you can't answer to my satisfaction, then the current Titer is an imposter. This is your litmus test, John Titer. So what are your true colors? Tell us now. Mayuri comes in. I think this is a background they haven't shown us before. I see right behind her neck on the left side we have a Gamazon instead of Amazon package. I can't read the one below it, though. Looks like she's forgiven us for experimenting on our food. She's back to her usual smiley self. Is that a paw in the background? Yes, just to the left of the TV. It looks like one of those, like, back scratchers, but it's a cat paw. Yes. I'm trying to figure out on top of the TV on the left-hand side the thing that looks like a Pokemon with a mustache, but with a giant thumbtack pointing out of it. Is that supposed to be their, like, rabbit ears? If so, that's mildly terrifying. What else do we have? We have some capsule toys. We have a shelf of manga, it looks like. We have the pop-up pirate on the shelf. Yeah, I'm guessing it's... I know what it is. It's supposed to look like Kyoto Tower or Tokyo Tower. That's what it's supposed to be. We have a penguin with a light bulb. We have a treasure chest. Also, the kitchenette looks very similar to where my first office location was. We had like a little built-in kitchenette like that.
こんな朝早くからどうしたのだ?
2人が2日連続徹夜って聞いたからね。差し入れ買ってきたよ。
そうか。それはご苦労。
Though to be accurate, it wasn't 2 nights in a row. I took an afternoon nap yesterday. Well, not 2 nights for you. Mayuri starts fishing through her convenience store bag. And then she takes out... Okay. Canned meals sold in vending machines. Yeah, so... I haven't had one of these, but... I've seen them on, like, YouTube videos. They look super cool. I don't know how good they are for you. Probably not. But I'm curious to try one. But yeah, basically you can like, type in A4 and it'll heat up your can. Well, you don't know what it is? Well, it is a hot broth with various Odin ingredients such as boiled egg, radish, cognac, beef, and tofu. The Odin itself, I believe, is just a type of stew. I'm not entirely sure what defines it, what the core ingredients are. The canned Odin is still warm when she gives it to me. I open the lid right away and eat the beef. Mary and I have been together for a long time, so she knows what I like. Wink, wink. When it comes to canned Odin, beef is where it's at.
マユシーからのプレゼントだよ。1個270円もするんだから大事に食べてね。
How dare I wink without permission?
最近バナナや唐揚げは食べ飽きていたところだ。今後もこの差し入れで頼む。
さすがにしょっ
Our
ちゅう
diet does not sound
これ
great.
ほどマユシーのポケットマネーは多くないのです。
We quote unquote have bananas, which I don't think we actually eat. We just experiment with. We have chicken and now cup soup.
あとバナナや唐揚げはマユシーが大好きだから今後も続けます。
You feel bad? Did I just describe your diet, Samus? If I did, I am sorry. Merc. Consider saying he'll get fat if you only eat frozen foods, but that threat's not very effective against Mayuri, so I hold my tongue. Oh, our character's incredibly rude. Yes, they are. Her high metabolism prevents her from getting fat, no matter how much she eats.
あとね、他にもあるよ。はい、じゃーん。
Next, she produces a small box with a Ryanette illustration. Get really weird when it comes to characters and bad eating food habits.
ライネットソーセージ。あのね、おまけでウーパのボトルキャップがついてくるんだ。
This is the kind of thing I would actually expect Japan to have. You're like, we have a card game, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Now you can buy Yu-Gi-Oh! Brand sausages. 'Cause why not? She sticks out her tongue with a shy giggle. Something tells me that in a few months' time this lab will be neck deep in Upa goods. There are only a few things right now, like the cushion on the sofa, but that number is sure to grow exponentially.
で、ダル君はどう？
Also, just for you, Samus's, left of the couch there is a cat paw pillow that I just noticed.
苦戦中だ。少しぐらい休んでもらった方がいいんだがな。何もぶっ通しで何とかしろとは一言も言ってないんだから。
Okay, we're getting a mail. Okay. This is Amane Suzuha, first email. Thanks for exchanging addresses with me yesterday. I finally made a friend here. Yay, don't worry. I won't email you too much. I might be slow to reply to. Kinda new at this email thing. It's okay to laugh at me. Okay, so let's go through our options. That wasn't an exchange. You took my address by force. I had no choice but to submit. Where were you living before? Haven't used cell phones much. I'm more curious about where you were living before. That seems like a natural follow-up. Did we actually add you to our contacts so you don't just appear as... No, we didn't add you, apparently. You're just going to appear as Skyclad 2010 for the rest of time.
ダル君のスーパーハッカー魂がメラメラバーニングしちゃったんだね。
そこ、ハッカーって言わないように。
It's the first thing he said in like a solid hour. An empty Diet Cola bottle comes whistling through the air. It hits my head with a nice thunk.
ピリピリしてる。
Mayuri and I evacuate to a corner of the lounge and quietly eat the Odin.
でもハッキングって悪いことなんだよね。マユシーはね、二人にそういうことしてほしくないな。
Don't worry, we're just gonna go to federal prison.
ダルのスーパーハッカーじゃなくてハッカーとしての腕前使わなければ宝の持ち腐れだ。
Incidentally, looks like hackers hijacked SERN system back in 2008. We found news articles about it online. That means even the inventors of the World Wide Web have holes in their security. The web is not safe. The internet is not safe. If you put something out on the internet, assume at some point it's going to get taken. This skills Dar should have no trouble getting through.
それにこれはセルンの悪事を暴くため世界を陰で支配する巨大な闇との戦いなのだよ。
悪いことは悪いことだよ。
Bad things are bad. You kind of don't want to live in whatever world this game takes place in. That's unusual. Mayuri usually just accepts whatever I say. Well, I admit it, we're doing a bad thing. We do a heckin' bad. There's no way we can stop now. We need to change the subject.
マユリよ、さつま揚げをやるから牛すじをくれないか。
It sounds like a horrible
そ
deal.
れならうずら卵がいいな。
ふざけるな。俺は牛すじの次にうずら卵が好きなのだ。
I think they're just saying egg. I think quail has been added in for the English audience.
マユシーもうずら卵好きだもん。
ちくわで手を打ってくれ。
I don't know what that is.
わかったよ。さつま揚げよりはちくわだもんね。
I don't know what chikuwa is. That said, I skewer the chikuwa and put it in Mayuri's can. And I get her beef in return. Subject change complete. Mayuri really eats up conversations about food. It's so easy to manipulate her. Huh?
もうすぐなんだよ。SQL のテーブル一覧さえ手に入れればパスワード特定余裕なんだよ。うへへへへ。僕をなめんな。
Samus is with the info. Chikuwa is a Japanese jelly-like food product made from ingredients such as fish, surimi, salt, sugar, starch, monosodium glutamate, and egg white. Dave is average with the follow. Thank you, Dave. I don't know, Dave. The same thing happened. There was one of your streams where I swear I was following you, and Twitch said I wasn't, so I followed you then. But it was like a solid month after after I'd started watching you. So apparently, we're hacking into a SQL table that has all their passwords. It's fantastic. Oh gosh. Does that actually say please input SQL commands? That's horrible. Select UID from users. I have questions about these SQL queries. Looks like things are falling into place. Dar really is a super hacker. I think this is the first time I've seen him this serious. I mean, the select statement looks okay. The only thing is you're getting UID twice. I don't think that's valid to call the same column twice. Daru bends himself forward, staring holes into the screen. That looks like a full stop to you? I'm pretty sure that's a comma. But it is hard to tell. All I see on the screen is the same string of numbers and letters.
おほ、来 来た来た来た。いいよいいよ。ほら観念して俺の前に全部晒しやがれっつうの。すっぱだかにされてる気分はどうだよ。
I don't understand. What? Cool. So the next time I query a sequel table, I'm gonna ask it. I'm gonna tell it, you naughty thing, how does it feel to be naked? I like this now. Exactly, Samus is. His eyes are bloodshot and he started rambling. Maybe the lack of sleep is getting to him. Dara opens up a new window, types in a 12-character string, and slams the enter key. Hello, Elytriana. How are you doing? Thank you for the follow. Two follows who silently rated. Could be a host. Could be an auto host. Or they could have just seen me live. Who knows? I guess they know. An error sound rings. He quickly deletes the string and enters in a new one. He keeps repeating the sequence until finally...
Oh! Kita kita!
User... Okay, we're gonna hide this. I want to actually read what's in this terminal.
Yes, yes, yes!
Cool ASCII art for CERN. Love it. User Jack. And the rest of it is too blurry for me to read. What enthusiasm. The smug bastard turns around with an expression of immense satisfaction. As if he's gone to La Petite Mort. Well, another thing to look up. Le Petit Mort, a condition of mental and physical release unique to male physiology, characterized by a feeling of supreme calm and composure. Entering the state is almost like becoming an empty shell, known as hyper sage time or saint time. Okay.
Mission complete.
It's worse than those 3D anime dolls I have. Don't make me bring those out. You know I'll do it. After 20 hours of agony, it's finally over. Please, it'll be a welcome distraction from this madness. Okay, which one do you want? Small, medium, or large? To show Daru my appreciation, I toss him an unopened Odin can. Yes, the art style is glorious. The one... I hope she opens her eyes, because the one thing this game has is, like, the characters have fantastic and really creepy eyes. Are we talking anime figures or redact? I was talking about the anime figures, yes. Kate wants to see. Okay, we'll go from small to large. Okay. Here, actually, let's... I can maximize this window. Where is my face? There is my face. Okay. So I have... little girl from Detective Conan. Prepare yourself for large things. I have this girl who I think is from is it Love Live? Not entirely sure. And I have Shion from Higurashi, the one that's scared to use the medium. Those are the three I have. Put those back. Oh no. I'll have to fix the chain on you. Ah, there we go. Yes, I brought them all back. My partner and I went to Japan last October and brought all of those back. There we go. Yeah, my brother is the one who collects amiibos. He has, I think it's Bowser, Pit, and can't remember the third one he has. And yeah, I have some Funko Pops. I have Kylo Ren, and I have the wrestler Daniel Bryan, because when I was in university, everyone thought I looked like Daniel Bryan and would just like start chanting yes, yes, yes as soon as I came into any room. Samus is maybe achieving that point of delirium, but they're not ready to leave it. Don't feel like you need to stick around. I know it is 10 o'clock for you. If you need sleep, please go and get sleep. You have all the Zelda and all the Fire Emblem. My brother would love that. He is super into Fire Emblem. He has, like, he keeps journals of, like, the Fire Emblem games and, like, which characters he's shipped with whom and, like, which ones he wants to do next. I know you want to stick around, but please don't let sticking around take priority over getting good sleep. Yeah, I asked him at one point, like, how many times he's played. I don't really play the Fire Emblem games. I tried playing one, and it wasn't my cup of tea. Like, I get why people like it, but it wasn't for me. But, like, I asked him, like, how many times have you beaten this game? And I think at that point in time it was at least 16.
ハッカーな。
あ、ハッカーだ。お前が敵でなくてよかった。それで世界滅亡計画の証拠は見つかったか。
いや、まだ見てねっつーの。繋がっただけ。ここまで来ればあとは楽だけどな。
ならば疲れているところ悪いが早速調べてくれ。きっとあるはずなのだ。陰謀の影が。
はいはい、やりますよ。でもその前におでん缶食わせろ。
Yeah, let the guy eat. He's just been at his computer for 40 straight hours. After a short meal break, Daru taps on his keyboard more nimbly than before.
手に入れたパスがセルンの誰のものなのかってのが問題なんだよな。
Very far behind, you haven't finished 2 of the 3 stories and Fates and have another game before the most recent one. Yeah. Yeah, my brother was currently replaying, is it Three Houses? Is this the one on Switch? Yeah, he was replaying it. I know he's played it probably at least 6 times at this point, like doing all the routes. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't heard the phone wave this stream, Samus is, because they've been busy trying to hack into SERN, and we had like a 30-minute chat about programming languages. Yeah, so Kate, these are the eyes I was talking about. They are both creepy and also really gorgeous. And like Daru's, you know, who cares about the guy, but all the women have eyes like this, and I think they're all different colors. So hers is like this blue orangey look. There's another character who we've seen earlier who has like bright yellow eyes. They're both amazing and terrifying at the same time.
セルンのデータベースに入ってデータのテーブル一覧をゲットしたんよ。そっから11111111とか ABCDEFGH みたいな簡単なパスワードを使ってる関係者に的を絞って ID 手に入れたわけ。
And yes, Samus says, I don't mind having talks about programming. It was on topic, and I do enjoy those conversations. And please don't make your passwords lots of ones or just all the characters in the alphabet.
その ID の持ち主がサーバー管理者だったら最高なんだけど、さすがにそこまで運は良くないと思われ。
日本語で OK だよ。
右に同じく。
要するにセルンのサーバー管理者のパスだったなら
I have the same combination on my luggage, Samus.
痴漢しまくりだけど、そうじゃない普通の研究員か何かなら
What are you talking about? Why is the admin account equal to tasting all of their luscious flesh? I don't understand you.
ダルク、エッチだね。
エロい例えをするな。つまり見られる情報が限定されてしまうということだろ。
そういうこと。サーバー管理者を特定してパスをゲットするのも時間の問題だけど、それはまた今度にするわ。さすがに眠くてあんま頭が働かん。
Yeah, Samus, like I said before, anything you put on the internet, it's someone's going to hack into it at some point or another, so like that shouldn't deter you from actually setting secure passwords, but don't put anything on the internet you don't want to get out eventually, because it will happen. It'd be cruel to push Daru any further. It's unfortunate, but overworking him isn't an option. Let's let him rest so he can regain his energy.
お、どうやら手に入れた ID は加速器部門担当者のものらしいよ。
サーバー管理者じゃないのか。
一発で当てるなんて
You
奇
have the
跡で
magic of
も起きない
unplugging
限り
things.
無理だっつうの。セルに何人の関係者がいると思ってるんだぜ。
何
6000人以
Itchy
上。
nose. That many?
とりあえずこの加速器部門担当者の名前
Yeah.
は
No worries, Kate. Thank you for the lurk.
ジャックさんのメールのログをちょろっと覗かせてもらおうよ。
I think you need to be more clear, Samus, about what kind of button. Of course, the email comes up in English.
うわわ眉しは頭が痛くなって
Trying to make a clothes button. How does one make a clothes button? It's pathetic to flinch at the mere sight of English.
誰よ、なんと書いてあるのだ。
It's a kid trying to cover it in fabric to match your cape. Gotcha.
翻訳しないと。
エキサイト先生にご登場願え。
Another reference, look. Dr. Excite, a machine translation site. Requires both hands and significant force. I mean, good thing we have you do curls of your sewing machine.
そんなめんどいことしてらんねえっつの。
Daru boots up translation software and auto-translates the open page. Poor unnatural Japanese shows up. The first line says, Happy New Year.
新年の挨拶みたいっすな。バカンスでスペイン行くとか裏山。
Yeah, I do remember seeing you make that on the last stream. Although I think Kat ended up doing most of the stream. That email's normal, nothing out of the ordinary.
こういうログを漁っていけば、そのうちサーバー管理者も特定できるのだぜ。
あのね、他人のメールを勝手に見るのってすごくごめんなさいって気持ちになる。
Mary gets depressed, moves away from the computer. She sits on the sofa and hugs her giant Upa cushion with a sigh. I know we're doing something socially unacceptable, however. Samus's joins her.
国悪の道に踏み込んだ身。何の良心の呵責も感じないのだ。責任はすべてこの俺が
A
取る。
wonderful evil
ダ
laugh.
リアマユリに罪をかぶせるつもりはない。
うほ、僕オカリンになら掘られてもいい。
Why? Why? I think Daru needs some sleep. He's... I don't know what this game is. I think he needs some sleep. Thank you for declining his offer.
というわけで
Please.
ダリオ、心置きなく覗き見るのだ。
オカリンって悪いんだ。マユシーは悲しいです。
Mayuri just doesn't even care. It's of no concern to me. Just sit there and pretend your hands are clean. Mayushi is what Mayuri calls herself. She speaks in like the third person and with like a cutesy nickname for herself. Upon further examination, we discovered several emails with the title Experiment Report. In English, naturally. Looks like he sends emails like these almost daily. So the LHC was the Large Hadron Collider that CERN had. I mean, yes, we established that when we hacked into their system. That's what his lips say, but his hand still clicks on the email. What comes up is an unintelligible series of symbols. Nice, super hacker. He's a genius, no doubt. Daru undoes the security in less than 10 minutes. Gosh. The real-time sync is deciphering the crappy machine translation. Okay. Let's see if it just reads it. It does. With a weird zoom in. No, I want him to act. Do it.
LHC の調子は良好だ。あくまで LHC はだが。こいつはまるで猫みたいに気まぐれだが、ここ1ヶ月ほどは驚くほど素直だ。ずっとこの調子だといいんだがな。
Fickle as a cat is a fantastic expression.
しかし報われない仕事だと思わないか？この子猫、大猫と言うべきか？はははははは。が、稼働して9年になるが、この人類史を塗り替える研究は一部の人間
Why
の
are
目
they
に
calling
し
the
か入ら
Large
ないわ
Hadron
けで。
Collider a cat? Like, I get it, but also... Why? Yes. Long boy cat.
もっとも公表されたらされたでいい晒し者になるのがオチだろうがな。世の中の連中はきっとこう言うだろうさ。今すぐロバート・ゼメキフをセルンに呼んでください。そうすれば1年と経たないうちに作ってもらえるだろうってな。
9年
Daru finishes reading. I rub my temples with my thumbs. Calm down. Let's sort things out.
今のメール翻訳ミスということはないのか？
Did Daru notice something unnatural too? He's not joking like he usually does.
翻訳ソフトを信じるならミスはないんじゃね？ところどころへんてこな日本語になってるのは確かだけど。
だとしたら妙なことになる。LHC が稼働を開始したのは去年の春ぐらいだったはずだ。だがこのメールでは9年前から稼働していたと読み取れる。
おかしいな。
The email's sent date is this year, 2010. So 9 years ago makes it 2001. John Titer posted this on @channel yesterday. The only other thing I can say is that you must not believe their lies. They've already succeeded at creating micro black holes. I gulp. If you read between the lines of this email, it sounds like they're doing some sort of secret experiment. Also, Robert Zemeckis is a super famous Hollywood movie director. Directed a trilogy of smash hit time travel movies about 20 years ago. I groan. No way. Was I right? CERN's hiding a major secret from the world? It's related to time travel?
ダル、もっと調べてくれ。タイムマシン研究の痕跡を探すんだ。
マジでか。
I don't know if Daru is questioning my order or the possibility that CERN might be researching time travel. Either way, he begins tapping on the keyboard again.
どのメールにもタイムマシンって単語は出てこないけど。 Z プログラムって単語がこの数ヶ月で100箇所以上も使われてる。これ今 LHC を使ってやってる実験のことじゃね？
その具体的な内容はブラックホールの生成実験か？
どっかに資料は。お、見つけた。
Dara opens a PDF attachment.
ほほう、なんかこれフランスとイギリスとオランダのトップシークレット扱いっぽい。
国家最高機密。
セルンは国家機関じゃないはずなのに、なんでだろう。つうか国家機密ってさすがにまずいんじゃね？
構わん。詳細を調べろ。
いやいや、バレたらただじゃ済まんし。
お前はハッキングで足がつくような無能なのか？
そうならないようにはしてる。
だったら何も問題はない。
そりゃどうも。
Dara makes a slightly awkward face as he takes the file about the Z program and feeds it into the translation software.
5月14日第137次 Z プログラム実験レポート。なお、ミニブラックホール生成ミッションがすでに確立しているため報告は省く。第一に
ストップストップ。
So they've already succeeded. All of a sudden, Titer's prediction became a reality.
やはりセルンは LHC を使ったミニブラックホール生成に成功していたのだ。
公式には実験はまだ成功してないって発表されてるのにな。
This is what Titer was referring to when he posted, "Don't believe what they say."
そもそも実験の目的は新しい素粒子反応を起こすことであってミニブラックホール生成じゃないし。
Dara doesn't take his wide eyes off the monitor.
だが実際にはすでにミニブラックホールは生成されている。
みたいだな。
その先には何と書いてある？
実験結果エラーヒューマンイズデッドミスマッチ詳細は別紙ゼリーマンズレポートナンバー14を参照。リフターの調整および各局所は適合地点をオンラインとして確定できない限り実験は停止するべきと提案する。
どういう意味だ？
ヒューマンイズデッドって人が死んだって意味じゃね？
Somebody died? Seriously? I groan. This isn't a joke anymore. Something very serious is going on here. Maybe we are in too deep. And what if we are? I'm not afraid. I'm not. After all, I am the insane mad scientist, Hoen Kyoma. Yes. At the beginning of the game, Christina died and is now no longer dead. We can't stop now. I can't control my curiosity. Besides, now that I've proof of their evil deeds, ignoring it would just leave a bad taste in my mouth. This game makes no sense. Time travel. Plot time travel will fix everything. I swallow my saliva. In an attempt to keep whatever composure I can, I scold myself for being so faint of heart.
ゼリーマンズレポートというのは何だ？
Dara starts typing once I ask my question, but he soon clicks his tongue. We just had a discussion about time travel earlier today.
ジャックさんのメールには見当たらないな。誰かもっと偉い人かサーバー管理者のパスを手に入れないと。
ではそれは後回しだ。タイムマシンについて探してくれ。
Yeah, because in this game they use the many world lines time travel theory, or at least that's what John Titer has been saying.
さすがに出てこないんじゃね？
After that, Dara spends about 15 minutes fishing through the Accelerator Division chief's email, but he doesn't find anything about time machines.
加速器技術委員会とか LHC 計画責任者とかって単語が出てきたから、その辺の ID を見当をつけて探すかな。そっちからならもっと突っ込んだ情報が手に入るかもしれんわな。
ジャックさんの ID では調べられないのか。
Daru shakes his head.
では今日のところはこれまでか。
ちなみにさ、今見てたのがセルンの一番でかいサーバーなんだけど、実はもう一個妙なデータベースがあったんだよね。
妙というと？
バグってた。
バグ？
A buggy database?
いや、バグっつうか、一応プログラムのコードらしきものは出てくるんだけど、もう意味不すぎてむちゃくちゃっつうか、全くもって解読不能です、本当にありがとうございましたっつうか。
暗号化されている可能性は？
あれは暗号には見えないのだぜ。そもそもプログラムとして成立してないんだよね。ただそんな誰にも見られないようなデータベースがなんで置いてあんのかは気になる。
気になるな。
ちょっと解析してみるを。
Daru tries every trick in the book to crack that mystery database. But after about an hour, the piston he has for fingers it begins speeding up. Eventually, he just slams the keyboard out of frustration.
ああ、わからん。全然わからん。こんなん絶対プログラムじゃねえよ、ボケ。死ねカスが。
That guy has a tiny head. I think it's... yeah, I'll have to see him again. I think he's just supposed to have a very large body in comparison to his head. Yeah, so this sounds familiar. This is what I say about all the code I write. Oh, great, he snapped. I think he snapped, like, at the very start when he started talking about computer software in very lewd ways. And us in lewd ways, too. Mary puts down her sewing tools and turns to Daru with a worried look on her face.
頭もよく回らんし、もう無理。
Yeah, because I mean, if you like take his head size and put it over top of Mayuri's, he's got like the very square jaw, but his head is actually about the same size. Yes, I am now a character. This is bad. Daru's breaking down. Maybe I'm pushing him too far. He's been up 2 days straight. He's probably at his limit.
ご苦労だった。もう休め、ダル。
そうするわ。つうかさ、もしこれがバグじゃなくてガチでプログラムだとしても、作ったやつにしかわからんよ。こんなん見たことないし。
Program unlike anything he's seen. Oh, that moment music burst from my pocket because we've got another message. Oh, it's actually forcing me to open. Okay, it's from John Titer. Did he reply to the email I sent him earlier? I see a hydrate. There you go. Okay. So we have an email from John Titer titled, Are You Being Honest? Thank you for the host, Elatriana. Titer writes, If everything you wrote is true, then we have a lot to talk about, particularly concerning the IBN 5100's hidden functionality, which I have not mentioned to anybody yet. I'm indeed surprised that you know about it. However, I have not gone to the year 2000, though it is possible I may go there later. There are 3 possible explanations. Yeah, I appreciate the self-care. First, the John Titer who appeared in 2000 is my future self. In other words, I go to 2000 later and write about the things you have told me, but that would cause a chicken and egg paradox, wouldn't it? Second, you're delusional or making things up. For the sake of serious discussion, let's set this possibility aside. Third, you've seen something I wrote on a different world line. That would mean that 10 years ago you existed on a different world line than the one we're on now. However, that raises another issue. When the world line changes, the entire timeline is reconstructed from past to future in order to prevent a paradox from occurring. I'm struggling reading these words that, like, break across a line. That was proven in 2036. In other words, it should be impossible for you to retain memories of a previous world line, unless you two are a time traveler, that is. Welcome to the world of older mobile phones. Do you have any idea what the cause could be? Thank you for the host, Shy. I gulp. Flash runs through my head like an electric shock. Scrolling back up to the top of the text. It's quite a bit of text, but what catches my eye are the first several lines.
そうか。今、点が線でつながろうとしているぞ。
何の話？
Larry looks at me curiously, but I don't have time to answer her. Yeah, thanks for that, Shy. Although I don't think we'll be staying on a whole lot later, but I appreciate the host anyways. And good to see you out here.
John Titor, SERN, Time Machine.
Samus thinks they get it. These things are all connected. Now I have another piece of the puzzle. I shiver at my own brilliance.
ダルよ。もしかするとそのプログラムの正体判明するかもしれんぞ。
え、マジで？どうやって？
I aim my phone's camera at the screen displaying the supposedly bug data and take a picture. I attach it to a message. Does this code look familiar? And send it to Titor. Mysterious database inside SERN. Program like anything Super Hackadaru has ever seen. Its true form is...
俺のひらめきが正しければ、ジョン・タイターが知っている。
はあ？
Apparently Samus's hunch is panning out.
なんとでも言うがいい。答えはすぐに出る。
We wait for Titor's reply. It's only been a few minutes. It feels like an eternity to me.
来た。
Watch it not be him. Okay. Titor responds, subject, where did you find that? That's written in a proprietary IBM programming language used prior to 1975. You can only decipher it with an IBM 5100. Its contents are enough to raise goosebumps on my entire body.
やはりな。
Are you sure you aren't the mad scientist, Samus's?
やはりって？
ダルよ。俺の予想は正しかった。判明したぞ。そのプログラムの正体が。
IBN5100.
That retro PC has a certain special function. In fact, for more than 25 years after it went to market in 1975, nobody knew of it, save a few IBM engineers. That function was first brought to light by the John Titor who appeared in 2000. While after Titor posted about it, an actual IBM engineer admitted to the hidden function's existence. Which reminds me, I talked to Suzuha about this only yesterday.
AP エリアベーシックが普及する前に書かれた IBM の独自のプログラミング言語も解読できちゃうのってさ、驚愕だと思わない？今や IBM5100 でしか解読できない失われたプログラミング言語があったりするんだよ。
What an incredible coincidence. Prime example of synchronicity at work. Let's learn about synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence. Simultaneity, the feeling that two casually unrelated events have a meaningful, deterministic relationship. For example, a vase fell and shattered at the same time my grandmother died in the hospital. Oh, it's a Jungian theory. Okay. It's almost like an almighty will is pulling the strings.
いいな、断じていいなだ。我らにとってこの発見はまさに必然。これこそがシュタインズゲートの選択だということだ。
つまりセルンは IBN5100 を使ってこのデータベースを構築したって？互換性のないマシンを使って？なんでそんなわけわからんことを？
You're especially mad that I'm streaming right now? Why is that, Samus's? It is starting to get fairly late. I think once we get past this conversation, we will stop and raid into someone else.
外部からのクラッキングに対する最高のセキュリティ方法は何だ?
Okay, well, cracking, yeah, illegal access to network systems and data tampering, often confused with hacking. Hacking originally means the constructive study of software. Cracking is a malicious act. It's only 10:30, shaking your head. Yeah, I know that's not late for some people. But I try to have a normal sleep schedule. Oh, it's even later for Samus's. They are an hour ahead of us.
そりゃスタンドアローンだろ。
Standalone, just computer not connected to any other network. Thank you. Dara quickly catches on to the intent of my question. What's a sleep schedule? Yeah, Samus says, please, if your eyes are getting blurry, please take some time away from the screen. Yes, if I did not have a sleep schedule, work would kick my butt.
ゆえにそこに眠るのはセルンにとって最重要の機密だということだ。
つか、オカリンはなんでその隠された機能のこと知ってるん？ソースは？
俺の頭の中に眠る膨大なインデックスに記述されている。どうでも言っておこう。
Yes, it's even later for you because it's already Sunday. Tider said it himself 10 years ago, but Dara wouldn't believe me even if I told him the truth.
パクリ設定オツ。
Yes, completely agree. Self-care is important. I ignored Daru's retort.
マユリ、大事な話があるから集まれ。
ここからでも聞こえるよ。
Mary's sewing. She doesn't get off the sofa.
聞こえるとか聞こえないとかの問題ではないのだ。これは我ら未来ガジェット研究所にとって、いや、人類の未来にとって、
No, the whole
運命を
world.
左右する会議なのだよ。
Mankind. Close
だから
enough.
もっとこう秘密めいた感じというか、
So you
企
want
ん
it
でい
to
る
feel
感じを
more
出したい。
secretive. Yeah, no, do not ignore care. It's important that we stare closely at the monitor and exchange dramatic lines. The atmosphere right now is too light. It's all Miri's fault.
マユシーはバルダ組には参加しません。
Well, I can't have everything my way.
二人とも聞け。これより未来ガジェット研究所は緊急極秘作戦を発動させる。これは世界を影から操る巨大な闇との戦いの第一歩となるだろう。敵はセルン、世界的な研究機関でありながら邪悪な研究に見られた連中である。
オカリン、声でけえ。徹夜明けにはきついっす。
Crap, I guess I'm being too loud. Kind of ruins the whole secret feeling. The window's open too. If Suzuha's down below, I'm sure she can hear it. Why was that not the first thing you did? It was come in and close that window. So I turned it down a notch.
いいか。世界にマッドサイエンティストは二人いらん。奴らに先んじられる前に我らが出し抜いてやるのだ。
奴らって？
奴らは奴らだ。
Them.
マユシーは全然わかんないよ。
つまり この秋葉のどこかにあるという幻のレトロ PC IBN5100 を手に入れる。
Make a magnificent declaration, but Daru just rubs his eyes, and Mayuri returns to her needlework. Damn it, is there anything you guys react to? Fun covered a massive conspiracy here. How come you aren't excited?
僕探すのはパス。マジで寝させてよ。それとセルンの中をもっと探りたい件について。
そうだったな。まあそれができるのはダルだけなのだからそっちは任せる。では IBN5100 の捜索は俺とマユリで。
無理だよ。
Mayuri makes an apologetic
コ
face.
ス作りもあるしバイトもあるもん。
So basically, you two are telling me this. I'm the only one with free time.
いいだろう。この件は俺が何とかする。そうと決まった以上俺のやり方に口出しは無用だ。分かったな。
また何か悪いことしようとしてる？
いや、口だけじゃね。
I'll leave my useless comrades behind and stride gallantly out of the lab. Because she's sewing, probably. That's why she's relatable to you. But yes, I think that's where we're going to call it. Striding gallantly out of the lab.